Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Tammy Tuckey Show. My name is Tammy Tuckey, and it's good to see all of you this evening. So, tonight, I'm really excited to welcome to the podcast and to celebrate the film's 40th anniversary. I can't believe 1982 has been that long. This is the adaptation of Annie. So, we have Toni Ann, who played Molly. Hi.
Oh, hello.
And we also have Rosanne, who played Pepper. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Oh, it's good to have both of you on the show this evening. Thank you guys for coming on, because I it's one of those films that I remember as like just a little girl loving to seeing the girl power. Now the girls kind of ran the show in a film, especially a musical.
Absolutely. Oh, it's great to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yes, thank you so much. It's always great to reminisce. Any opportunity, right?
I know, and it's so weird because it doesn't, like, for me as a kid, I had it on Laserdisc, which is interesting to
Wow.
think about. I had a Laserdisc, had it on VHS tape, and now I got my copy, my DVD copy from you guys. Thank you so much. Just met you guys in Pennsylvania, so thank you for coming out and meeting the fans there and signing my DVD. Now I have it on DVD. Woo! I made it to the 21st century. But there's so many things to discuss about with this film, and I couldn't really find a lot of behind the scenes featurettes, especially that were just mainly on the cast besides Aileen, who played Annie. And I wanted to know, first off, because casting Annie was such a big deal, but my first question was going to be, how big of a deal do you remember that as supporting actresses and part of the orphan cast, do you remember how big of a deal that was back at the time, and like just being selected to audition? Or
Oh yeah, there were, I'd say that from all over the country there were girls. I'd say thousands, right? Roseanne, were thousands and thousands.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was exciting because, I had a little different story than Toni Ann because I played Annie in the play and I toured around the country. So to get the opportunity to be a part of the film, it was exciting for me. Um, and then I was playing a different character.
Right.
So, when I auditioned for it, I wasn't sure, what was going to happen, but it all worked out, and it was a very different experience than auditioning for a play.
Yeah. I remember going up to New York. Initially auditioned. I went to audition for Annie, but when I got there, I went with a big group of people from a singing group that I used to have here in Atlantic City. I was a part of, and I remember getting there and not even being able to try out because I was too short. They had like a cardboard statue of like little orphan Annie. So I was just like a head. They're just like, oh, thank you. You know what I mean? So I didn't even get to audition. But then a few weeks later, I think it was, they called, my manager called and said, oh, now they're interviewing for the principal roles, Annie's friends. So then I went up and one thing led to another. And then, so.
That's pretty funny, Toni Ann, because you were too short to play Annie,
I know.
and now you're tall,
Oh,
and I was too tall to play Annie.
right.
The only time in my life I've ever been too tall for anything, and I'm shorter than you now.
Ironic, right? Yeah.
that was I was in a cast of the sequel, actually, Annie Warbucks, in a stage community show, and that was my problem, was I was too tall to be Annie, so I was cast as Pepper. So I get the same thing. We have a little
There you
something there.
go. There you go. Exactly. It's very funny.
And it's so interesting because there's so many really great specials about, all of the Annies and all of the orphans who have been in this show, because it has been such basically, it's one of those things that really set Broadway history for bringing younger children and younger talent on the stage in a prominent, casting arena. So the fact that they decided, hey, let's go ahead and let's make the film. And would you guys agree that probably, because John Huston directed this, and he's known
Yeah.
for these amazing big films. And to me, I don't know about you guys, but I think like this is the last classic Hollywood musical there ever was. It just is so big and so bold, and some of the decisions that they made in it. And you have such an amazing cast and crew. But what do you guys think?
I mean, I can't believe the staying power it has. And I don't know why it surprises me because the play is still touring. And
Yes.
little girls still want to be Annie. But sometimes when you take a really popular musical that was, on the stage and you turn it into a film, it kind of maybe loses something.
Right.
And they did change it, but it just is this. I tell Toni Ann all the time when we're together, I'm like, I can't believe that people still know who we are.
Right.
you know?
And like I said, it's always so nice to reminisce and bring, because it was a great time in our lives. I mean, it's so nice. So thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, it's great. I call Annie both the play and the movie. I call it the gift that keeps on giving because so many wonderful things have come out of it
Mhm.
because of it. So it's been such a great thing.
Yeah, and to read the emails that we still get and the snail mail and the mail that we get, it's just amazing how it played such an impact, in a lot of people's lives. It feels
Oh yeah.
great.
And you mentioned that there were additions that were added to the movie because I was one of those kids who saw the movie before even seeing the stage show because I was too young at the time. So when I saw the musical, I was like, "This is very different." There's no there's no big crazy sequence with Punjab at the end. There's no
Yep.
"We Got Annie," like my favorite song. So what was one of your favorite additions looking back now that they added to the film?
Good for Roseanne. It's a Roseanne.
I think I really struggled with that, to be honest with you. I guess coming from the play, and I struggled with the changes that they made because I thought the whole thing about Christmas and a new year and a new life for Annie and all this stuff, I was like, why would you change that?
Mhm.
But I think I do like the focus more, and maybe because I was an orphan now, but I think they gave the orphans like a little bit more of a story. And so you got to know them a little bit more, and they had a few more scenes where you saw kind
Yeah.
of what they were going through while Annie was away in the mansion, you know.
Mhm.
But personally, I wouldn't have changed anything.
I
That's
get
just
that.
me though.
Don't mess with perfection. I totally get that.
Well, really, don't, there was nothing, you don't, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Mm.
That's true. Do you remember where you guys got to shoot? Was it their specific studio lot you remember that you got to walk on? Because the city set is beautiful. Like it reminds me of the extravagant Hello Dolly set. And I'm wondering if it was shot at the same location actually.
Sure. Burbank Studio, and we were next to what was it again, Roseanne? What's
Fan-
Fantasy?
Fantasy Island.
He played, but I forget what it's called. Fantasy.
Fantasy Island. Yep.
And what else? I think Alice
And
was nearby.
yeah, we were on a sound stage where that's where the orphanage was.
Right.
And then they built in one of the areas outside, they built the city street where you saw, you know, Annie running through the streets and stuff. But when we were filming running through the city, we were running through the actual city.
Right. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
was it what city was it again?
New
New
York.
York. We
So
were
they
running.
flew you out to do that just those scenes?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we started in California, and
Wow.
then did we start in California or New Jersey,
No,
Tony?
you know what? We started in Monmouth, I believe, New Jersey, because I think the ending scene, the carnival at the end was one of the first things we did. So I believe,
Okay.
Wow.
yeah, we started in New Jersey, the mansion.
And you said it was Universal Studios backlot or Paramount or
Columbia,
Columbia, Burbank Studio. Yeah.
Burbank Studios.
gotcha. Okay. I was wondering because we just came back from a California trip and we were on the Paramount set backlot city. And I was like, when I was looking at some pictures, I was like, this looks very familiar. I wonder if it's the
Yeah.
same one. But but yeah, that's really it's such a shame that they take down a lot of these wonderful sets. But the one set that they did keep, well, it wasn't really theirs to build. It was just that big mansion, that the Daddy Warbucks mansion, and it
Oh
was
yeah.
amazing. Did you guys get to really? Well, you didn't really have any scenes there, but did you ever get a chance to be there as a kid and just kind of explore how big it was?
Well, that's actually Monmouth College. Monmouth College. They used Wilson Hall, as a lot of the scenes were filmed in Wilson Hall, the staircase. And if you go there, it's funny because my daughter's friends, some of them go there, and there's a plaque in the hall that says, 1982 Annie filmed here. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah, and that's when we were in New Jersey. That's where we were.
Right.
We had a couple of scenes in the mansion and outside of it, but all of the rooms, like on the second floor, they were places where we waited. There were dressing rooms, there were makeup rooms, there
Right.
were, so they really utilized that space pretty well.
Yeah.
And you guys got to go there recently. Well, not
Yeah,
recently, a couple years ago, I'm sure. But yeah, you guys
That-
got
yeah. That was probably about 10 years ago,
Right, yeah.
actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that was
Mm-hmm.
we all came together, and
Yeah.
that was a fun time. Toni Ann, I think that might have been the first time I saw you since we had filmed, wasn't it?
I
Or
think
was
the first time we saw Aileen, but I think
yes, you and I saw each other.
Yes, that was the first time the three of us had been together, and since the film. But Rosanne
Wow.
had done another signing somewhere in one of the theaters, Pittman Theater or something.
Oh yeah,
Maybe like a year before that.
that's right. That was before that. So
Why so long? I guess some of us all think that you guys are all best friends, and I'm sure you got along on the set. But did you guys just, lose touch over the years, I assume, or?
Yeah, you
Well-
kind of go on, and I guess we all went back because we all were from different states, I guess, right? Most of us.
yeah, and you have to remember it was pre-social media.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
once Facebook came into play,
And we all
then we all started reconnecting again.
some of us. I wish we could.
Some of us did, but you it wasn't as easy before the social media aspect. I wouldn't have known how to get in touch with Toni Ann.
Right.
But then Facebook came along, and there you are.
The blessings of social media. There's so many blessings with it. So
There's good points. Being reconnected with Toni Ann was one of the high points of social media, because we don't want to brag or anything, but let's face it, everybody loved Molly and Pepper.
That's absolutely true. Those are the ones that stick out the most out of all the orphans, for sure.
100%.
Well, we have a question from the audience, and I do encourage our those who are watching live, they can type a question in the YouTube chat. JP says, which one of your lines from the movie do fans quote to you the most?
JP,
Let me go first.
you go first.
She had to go bathroom. There you go. I know.
Mine is blow it out your old wazoo.
I love both of those. Very, very funny. And so you go through the audition process. You finally. I'm assuming they did like a table read of the film, or did they kind of just jump in?
No, we definitely did. No, we did. We got together and we did a table read, all of us all together, and just to kind of get a sense of how it was going to go, and just to kind of meet everybody, and and then we all flew out to. Well, we did the stuff in Monmouth.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to remember. I can't remember. I have terrible memory with. If my mother was here, she'd be telling me the exact, times that everything happened.
Yeah, same one. I should have her here.
Yeah. But I remember it was New Jersey, New York, California,
right.
And California was the best.
Yeah, it was good.
That was a good time.
Were you guys surprised that they cast somebody so sweet like Carol Burnett to play Miss Hannigan?
I was a little surprised by that, because she's very much a comedic actress and everything, and she doesn't have an actual mean bone in her body.
I know, right? So she, great actress, that means, right?
So she was fantastic. But once she did it, I definitely saw their logic and their reasoning behind it. I mean, it was a great choice.
Yeah.
And
It's
she
hard not
was
to like her.
absolutely amazing. What'd you say?
I just said it's hard not to like her, even though she's playing a drunk, abusive person. And I'm just, when I was watching the movie again, I'm like, You know what I mean? Like when I look at it, I'm like, eh. And then they make her redeemable at the end. I think that's probably my only gripe with the film is because I remember when I went to go see the stage show, we're all like cheering at the end when Miss Hannigan is thrown into prison. You know what I mean? But she's just fantastic. And the I guess the most greatest parts are at least the comedic parts are Tim Curry and Bernadette Peters and herself just doing Easy Street. And that's like just so cool to see them do it. Did you and since you guys had known who other Broadway actors were you really excited to maybe see Tim Curry and Bernadette Peters and see them in action?
I was super excited to meet Carol because I loved the Carol Burnett show, and I don't think I really knew who Tim Curry was and Bernadette Peters until I met them, and then I saw the things that they did, and then of course, you know, later on when I was a teenager, Rocky Horror Picture Show and Bernadette Peters in The Jerk, and then but Carol Burnett was like, I was super, super excited to meet her.
And right. Yeah. I was, again, I was 6 years old. So to me, I'm like, these are just a whole bunch of nice people. But my parents were like in awe and they were telling me, do you know who this is? Oh my God. So they were hyping them up and telling me, you know, oh my gosh, my dad, when he found out that, you know, John Huston was directing too, because he had seen so many films, you know, that he had directed, he was just like, oh my gosh. So I knew I was, you know, in good hands, and I knew I was with the best, you know what I mean? Amongst the best. So,
yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that John Huston, probably one of the greatest directors of all time, decided, yeah, you know, I'm gonna direct a musical with a bunch of kids and a dog in it. And
very different.
Yeah, and Toni Ann and I were so young that it was kind of lost on us. But now when I, you know, think of the things that he's done, and even all the people that we worked with in that, it's pretty amazing. You can kind of Anne Reinking, Albert Finney, Jeffrey Holder, Bernadette Peters, Tim Curry, Carol Burnett, Ed Herman. I mean,
an amazing array of people. It's
amazing.
Like it's funny because the photo on your right hand side with Bernadette, Tim, and Carol, and you, Toni Ann, that one circulates all the time on Instagram. So
you see it all. Yeah, I see that a lot.
Do you remember that day? Do you remember this moment and where the heck they were coming from?
Yes, I actually do. And then again, it's because my parents were just so excited about it, and then they would explain, you know, who they were, what they did. So I do remember that, and I remember him having this cigarette in his mouth. Hysterical. I do remember that.
Tim Curry was asked in an interview maybe like 2 years ago. Somebody asked, well, what do you think about working on Annie? And he said that he told a story how Bernadette and him were doing a publicity shots. And she says, you need to get my right side, so I need to be on this side. And he said, she's a dish.
Okay.
Which I thought was really hilarious. Just a crazy group, but a wonderful group of people. Let's take a look at one of the scenes from the film. I think this is one of my favorite songs in the movie. So here, let's take a look.
Oh, you never fully dressed without a smile.
That part. That was so much fun. So much.
You guys look like you're having fun.
We were.
Well, I could tell you a pretty funny story about that shooting that number.
I wonder if it's the same one. Go ahead.
I was so sick shooting that. I had 104 temperature while we were shooting that. And so every time there was a break and they were changing the scene or they were moving the cameras, I would go and lay down in Carol Burnett's trailer. And she would come in and do the classic mommy thing where she put, your lips on your forehead to check my temperature and everything. And she was so wonderful. And I was so sick filming that. that that's pretty much all I remember. I just remember going and like kind of like a robot filming the scenes, which I think about it today, and you'd be in so much trouble if you made a kid film with 104 temperature.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, especially today. Did you guys have a lot of school work that happened off of set too, like 4 hours of schoolwork,
Oh, yeah.
4 hours on?
Tutors. Yeah. I don't remember exactly the time, but I do remember that we had tutors. I remember that.
It was when we were in California. We were there during the summer, so there was no school. But Toni Ann, what funny story were you thinking of with that?
I was thinking of the story, the part where I'm standing on the desk and I go with the sandal. Remember how I take
Oh,
April,
yeah.
and I say, the lovely Boylan sisters, and I'm supposed to hit you in the throat, like in the face.
Yep.
So I didn't want to do it that hard. I felt bad. And they're like, no, harder. And I remember you saying to me, it's okay, hit me hard.
Hit me harder. Hit me harder.
Watch it
Aw.
back. I try to do it as hard as I can, but I'm kind of like still like, oh man, I don't want to hurt her, So, but I just remember that.
Yep.
Were you guys a part of the I remember the little pillow fight that they have, like they sneak it into the Hard Knock Life. So when they would do those moments and they would film it, did they kind of let you guys continue afterwards and be like, or they were like, we gotta clean it up, gotta do it again?
We weren't in that, right?
No, the pillow fights, we were, well, I get the end of it. They,
Yeah.
when I'm like acting like I'm Miss Hannigan and I'm imitating her,
Right.
for doing that, and I'm walking away, and like they get me a little bit, but I'm not really in the fight. But
I
yeah,
wasn't in that at all. That was all of the other orphans in the orphanage.
Mhm.
Well, I have a little clip from them actually filming that, and then I think you get to see John Huston and the choreographer in that. So here's one of the behind the scenes clips I found.
In a while and watching who's going to get the next step. With adults, if you do something, you do it. If you don't, you don't. They can accept it. Children are just watching like, ooh, if somebody gets something more to do than the next kid, boy, they're mean. The girl that comes down the centre,
Practically handheld, I'd say, Harry. Any
coming
of this
to
stuff.
almost working with John Huston is just such a great experience. I was so nervous when I first met him, and he's been so nice. I mean, I hope that, he likes what I do, but I'm always kind of running there and back as I'm working, hoping that this is the shot that he wants.
Yeah, it's Arlene Phillips. I remember her.
Yep.
And I think that's from Lights Camera Annie, if I'm not mistaken. That behind this, is that what you got? Where you got that from?
I think so. I just kind of pulled it. I found it on YouTube. Thank God for YouTube.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I think that's exactly where that's from, Toni Ann.
Yeah.
How long did it take to kind of choreograph those songs and learn the choreography for you guys?
It was so segmented.
It was.
You learned a part. So if you weren't in a part, you never learned that part. Like the dance in the beginning, we didn't learn that because we weren't in it.
Right.
So you only learned what you were in.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't like where you're in live theater where you're learning all of it. And so when they were doing that, we were sitting around.
Right.
Did you?
Look!
I know these are really cute pictures, and thank you guys for sending them and bringing them. Like it just having fun, and I'm so glad you got some of these pictures. Were your parents taking pictures? Is that how you guys got to keep some of these keepsakes?
Yeah. These are some of them I got offline, maybe the one on the step, but and the other one, I'm not really sure where that group one came from. My parents did take some. I have an album here at home. But it's funny because another thing, getting back to social media and phones, if we had cell phones now, how many more pictures I would have,
Oh, yeah. My mother didn't take any pictures. She was absolutely terrible, still is terrible at taking pictures. So any pictures I had, other people took them, gave them to me, or I found them on the internet.
But then there were some times where my parents were like, you couldn't really take them. It would be inappropriate. You know what I mean? You had to act like you were amongst them all, but you couldn't just start taking pictures. At the premiere, I remember that too, because apparently Brooke Shields was there, Christopher Reeve was there. And I'm like, where are these pictures?
Yeah, I know. And I got a kiss from Christopher Reeves. I was so excited to meet Superman.
Very nice.
Oh, the best. Oh my gosh. And I love Toni Ann with you in your little chair. Did you guys get to have any keepsakes from the set? Costumes, props, your chair?
We did. I remember I got to keep I had a blue robe and some slippers I got to keep. And then we got to keep our names off of the chair, not the chair, but the name, the name on the back, the whole, the insert, the
That
brown.
whole piece we
Yep.
got to keep.
Yep. Right. So
I didn't get any costumes.
I remember a robe. It was a blue robe. I don't know. Maybe it was, I don't know. I just remember a robe, but I
Lucky
didn't wear it
you.
in the movie. So
You didn't wear a robe.
I know. So I'm
I
like,
think you're making that up.
I have, I know the robe and slippers, but I don't know.
Was there anything you would have wanted to take home? Because I think the one costume piece I would have loved to have had is that We've Got Annie yellow dress that Anne Rankin wears. I just love it.
I would have liked the outfit I'm wearing, even though it's rags. I mean, it still would have been like, oh, I wore, that would have been cool.
I would have liked the sweater that Pepper got to wear, because I have my Annie dress from when I was in the play. My shoes, the locket, the dress. I
Yeah.
have the whole, and I have my boots from before when she was in the orphanage. So it would have been nice to have like the sweater, because
Yeah.
I wore that in every scene.
All right.
When you had the 30th anniversary, did they say anything? Did the film company say anything about that they had certain items and they wanted to just display them during the celebration, or none of that ever happened? It was just talking about the film.
There was a 30th celebration. I wasn't invited.
Well, maybe you mean like not in person, online.
Yeah, no, I thought they did like something where maybe it was just Aileen. I thought she did like a press tour. Maybe
Yeah.
my memory's going, but I thought she did like a press tour just to talk about the film hitting 30 years. And
Oh yeah, that was Aileen. I remember seeing that video. Yeah, we weren't part of that. Yeah.
it's such a
Yeah.
shame. I
It
would have
is a
loved
shame.
I would have loved for them to bring out some of those costumes and props, you know what I mean, just to highlight the film at some point. You know what I mean? It's a shame.
It is a shame. It's not like, it's not like it is today, unfortunately. I think if Annie had been made in 2002, and now it's 2022, or even 2020, it was 20 years later, there would have been all this like hoopla about it.
Yeah.
But because it was made in 82, and we were usurped by ET, because ET came out the same year and like just took the box offices off the charts.
Yeah.
So we had a lot of things that kind of worked against us, but we're still here.
Yeah, here we are.
Well, it's funny you mention that, because so you guys are 1982, and then the TV film with Kathy Bates comes out in 1999. And I interviewed a couple of the girls who were a part of the orphan cast for that, including Pepper. And then you have the 2012 version with Cameron Diaz and Jamie Foxx. So I guess we're going to have another one, some type of reiteration of the story, and it just continues to last. Why do you think it lasts this long?
Well, again, it's definitely a classic, and you see so many schools, so many organizations. They just always do it. There's just something about it, like we were saying before. It's the music. It just gives you a certain feeling, and I don't think it'll ever go away. You know what I mean? I think it's here to
I
stay.
think every little girl, wants to, when they see it for the first time, they want to be Annie, or they want to, they want to be that plucky kind of optimistic
Yeah.
kid. And it's just such a good story, and such a uplifting story, that I think, it's not going to go anywhere, and it's going to change.
Right.
But I go back to my original comment of, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But, that's just me.
She's not wrong.
Well, I think sometimes musicals can be doom and gloom, and maybe that's why Annie sometimes gets such a bad rap, because it is so optimistic. But you're right. I think maybe we need a little bit more of that nowadays.
You definitely need more of that. I mean, everything on TV now is so realistic, and these tragedies, and these, Dahmer and this one. And I'm like, ugh, you're like, you're depressed when you go to bed. Like you watch Annie and
Yeah.
it's uplifting.
Well, Lauren says, "Hi, I love the opening scene best. Tony, you made me want to protect Molly from Miss Hannigan. This movie helped me get through a few eye surgeries I endured as a kid, so thank you both."
Oh, that's nice.
Thank you, Lauren.
That's
Thank you. That's nice to hear.
And Elvis wants to know, Elvis Moore says, "Does the movie get shown on Netflix or cable nowadays? Are you guys getting your residual checks?"
yes, but with these, I used to say it was gas money, but now not with these gas prices.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It did. They still show it on regular TV and they show it on cable.
And it was on Netflix not too long ago. Is it still on Netflix? It was on Netflix like
I don't know.
months ago. I don't know if it still is, but it was. It
They
was pretty-
better bring it back.
Come on, bring it back.
Well, unfortunately, recently we did lose Grace Ann Rankin in the past a year and a half, I believe, and such a prominent Broadway performer. And I just her performance in this is great. And I wanted to show a clip from We Got Annie just to remind people of not only is she fantastic at dancing and everything, but I think what sometimes the golden age of film is the character actors in the background. So I want you to pay attention to the rest of the staff of Mr. Warbucks, especially the gentleman on the far right who's trying to snap his fingers with the rhythm.
To relax like a big tax rebate. We got Annie.
We got Annie.
We got Annie. And Minnie Gordon's got swing. Bing is the king by far. Spot has got Jeff and Eleanor FDR. We got Annie.
I could watch her dance all day long. She's just an amazing, amazing dancer.
That's true. That's so true. But actually, just then though, I was paying attention to the people in the back.
I did, and when you notice that more when you grow up as a kid, you're not like paying attention.
I know. I wish we got to do some scenes, more scenes with her. We really didn't get to do too much with her, but I would have liked that. That would have been nice.
Yeah, I love that they add the let's go to the movies. When I remember as a kid, I just love that scene where she's getting dressed and Annie's with her, and like that's the quintessential daughter mother thing, is like you watch her get dressed up and you put the makeup on and then she's singing and dancing with her, and it's just so cute. And I'm like, and then and it keeps going, and you're so like you're zeroed in on it. And John Huston I think he got a lot of flack. I was reading online, he got a lot of flack for doing this film. And when you watch it, if you just watch that, just that camera is following her dancing. That's the movement you need to show the movement. And it's brilliant. I love it.
He did get a lot of flack, and he got a lot of, the change. I don't know why they took out NYC. I think NYC is such a great number. And my only complaint with the let's go to the movies is there was a little too much Rockettes.
Yeah, I was kind of confused when I saw that originally. And then when it didn't happen in the 1999 version, I'm like, and then I had saw the stage show and it was NYC and I loved that song. I was like, oh, it was brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's a proud New Yorker, Daddy Warbucks.
Some people complain about the part, there's too much film in it. Like the movie scene is a little boring at them in the theater, but
yeah, you want a little Buzzley Berkeley kind of like that route, which it is very beautiful to watch. You're never going to see something like that nowadays in movies.
No.
It's something right. I mean, it all worked out in the end.
But I would have liked to see that. I'm glad that they reinstated it in the 99 version and then had Andrea, the original Annie, be the star to be coming up doing the solo. That was great. And we have some more pictures. So what was it like working with Aileen? I'm sure she was pulled in 5,000 different directions, and you guys were always trying to like at least hang out and spend time and have fun. But
yeah, it was fun. we had time with her. Of course, she was with the adults more. But yeah, we would take time to play jacks and all that kind of stuff. And when we saw her, so
yeah, and there were weekends when we weren't filming. We'd go swimming and do things like that. So we we got time with her, but she was insulated a little bit more than we were.
I don't. It doesn't look in the behind the scenes footage I saw. She doesn't seem to be having too much pressure, and I know that for child actors it can be a lot of pressure just to carry a film on your shoulders or to be in something that requires so much energy and time. So did you guys felt comfortable, and it looks like John Huston really loved you guys, because I think I found a picture of you guys with him. This is actually I found this picture. Is this the whole cast, I guess? Do you guys remember being in this
Oh
one?
my gosh, I don't know.
I don't remember that at all.
I have one that I had sent you. It's just us with him, Annie, like, and the orphans, and him. It's a black and white one. But that big step one I've never seen. I would like to see that again. If
I'm trying to find it. I guess it didn't appear on my slides. I'm sorry, but yeah, the one. Wait, this one right here. This one with you.
Yeah, but there's one that I have all of us with him.
With all of us.
Yeah.
I guess I forgot to put it in. I'm sorry. But yeah, this one I found online, and it looks like it was in the hall, and there's John Huston in the middle, and Anne and Aileen. I guess it was maybe one of those days that they just I don't know. But yeah. And then there he is with Tim Curry and Bernadette Peters. Now, you guys, had you heard about the infamous, they shot the whole Easy Street outside, and then they were like, oh, we're going to do it again, but it's going to be in the orphanage?
I hear about that, yes.
Yep. And I think the final product in the orphanage was much better than a whole big production number out on the street.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I definitely liked the one inside better than that.
They didn't have you guys in the original version they shot, right?
No.
No. Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, we were locked away in a closet somewhere.
Yeah.
It was really cool to see some of the footage that remained from that. Susan says that she wanted to know how Grace got changed so quickly in Let's Go to the Movies. Me too. I thought she did a great job. And she also said she got to meet both of you as well, just like I did. And you and shows you her sticker album.
Oh,
that's cool.
Was that recently?
Is that the recent one? In where was it?
Phoenixville.
Phoenixville.
Yep.
I think so. Yeah. Yes. Remember we were looking at that sticker album.
Yes.
And you said you had one, and I was like,
yes.
Where was I? I had none of this stuff.
Do you ever look on eBay and you're like, did they have this? Did they have this?
I see all the stuff they had, and I'm like, well, first of all, they made the orphan dolls, and they made Pepper was a blonde. I'm like, hello, how did they make me a blonde? I said, that's just par for the course for me. Of course, they made me a blonde. It looks nothing like me. Whatever.
At least you had one made, right? Pepper,
I guess, but people are like, you weren't Pepper. Look at the doll.
Maybe you got to dye your hair blonde.
Maybe that's the next step.
So just going back to these photos, so outside the one on the right hand side, that's where the final scene was shot here. This one, correct? Or
yes,
that's one of the first. It's not the first scene that was shot. I remember my mom telling me they kind of did it backwards. So
you know what? You're right. They did, because can you go back to that picture of the whole group?
Yeah.
I can't really see me because I don't have my glasses on because I'm old now. But was my hair short?
I have a clip. You want to see the clip and we can pull that up? Here. Let's watch a little bit of the show from the ending.
Okay, so right there, we had to reshoot that. And so when we originally shot it, my hair was short, and then we came back and my hair was longer, and I was like, but my hair's longer. And they're like, "Oh, don't worry, we'll just, like pull it up." But it didn't look good because
Yeah.
clearly in 20 minutes at being at a party, my hair grew 2 months worth of time.
Oh my gosh. Well, there it is. There's one inconsistency.
There it is. We're like the Game of Thrones with the Starbucks cup.
Yeah.
I think there was something with my teeth too, because I would lose teeth and get teeth because I was 6 years old. I was,
Sorry, I was trying to
So-
pull up the picture of it and see it.
but I mean, I don't know if you could tell there.
You
It
guys look
didn't
so cute. Look at these outfits. Adorable.
Clearly, it didn't matter, Toni Ann, whether you had teeth, whether my hair was 4 inches longer. It didn't matter.
All worked out.
Nobody's looking at us.
But the legacy like continues. It's been 40 years. So for those who are watching, we have a great group of people watching who've been asking questions. Thank you guys. But what is one thing you take away from being able to be a part of this film?
Well, one thing I take away. Let's think about that.
Well, you think?
Yeah.
Because one thing that I take away from it is that
Just
it just continues to make people happy. It's a happy memory. It's a part of their childhood. So by extension, we were part of their childhood. And I think of the things from my own childhood that I remember and I'll never forget. So that's pretty cool
Uh,
that we were part of a happy childhood memory for
that's
people.
actually a beautiful answer, and I'm gonna branch off of that. It's true, because even when we're long gone, not to not to be more,
Fingers crossed.
but when we are long gone, we live on, and it will continue hopefully to make people happy, like you said, and that we're blessed. We're blessed.
We were very blessed.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm blessed that you guys are here this evening. I really, really appreciate it. And thank you for traveling. I know not a lot of people are big fans of traveling and meeting with fans. So I think it means a lot to a lot of us who get to finally meet you in person.
Oh, I had the best time that day.
Oh,
I kept saying to Toni Ann, I kept going, why are these people so excited to meet us? Because I live on Long Island. I'm an assistant principal. Like I go to the food store and nobody knows who I am and nobody cares who I am, So that was such
it's so
an
nice.
amazing weekend.
And we're doing it again November 19th. Don't forget.
We all I
Oh,
didn't forget.
where? Same
Um,
area or?
where's
Wayne, New Jersey
Wayne? Yeah, Wayne, New Jersey. Yep.
on
Wayne.
November 19th.
And where is it at? If anybody is in the area, they would love to meet you.
It's funny. My
Toni Ann,
husband,
where is it?
he's not here.
All right, so they can go to our our Facebook
Yeah.
and our Instagram pages. We'll be posting it.
Yeah, it's a convention. It's a convention. JP, are you still there? JP might know.
Yeah, JP will probably know.
Was
Oh.
JP the gentleman who took the picture for us? He was hanging out with you
Yeah.
guys.
Yes,
Buddy.
He's so sweet. Hi, JP.
he's very sweet. Hi, JP.
Well there, but yeah, it's Wayne, New Jersey. It's another. I think it's a comic convention or a toys and comic show or something. I don't know. We just have a ball when we're there, and it's true. Rosanne, like she's saying, we're like, oh my God, they're so happy to see us.
Well,
I mean,
why
they're
wouldn't
bringing
they be?
They brought us cake last time. We got these amazing little cakes. They were so nice to us. It was so great.
Was
It really was. It was a lot of fun. And, seeing I think that one of the coolest things, like seeing people a little younger than us or our age who saw the movie, that's cool. But when you see little kids who are still in middle school or elementary school and they are like, oh my, you were Pepper, you were Molly.
yeah.
It's like, that's some lasting power right there.
Mm-hmm. How about the one fan who had her twins girls, everything Annie themed, stuff that we've never seen before. We're like, oh my God, it was amazing.
She did this amazing Annie themed birthday party for her kids.
Toilet
She's
paper.
the one who brought us the cakes.
Yeah, she was amazing.
Oh,
I said to Toni Ann, I go, why didn't we think of that? Like, why didn't we have an Annie party for our kids?
I-
I had SpongeBob.
SpongeBob was the thing.
It was the thing. Did JP answer? Did he know where that was going to be?
He said hi.
He said hi.
Hi, JP. But yeah, please follow Toni Ann and Rosanne, and you guys can follow them on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, just to keep up to date with you guys. I also like to mention to our fans who are watching, I really appreciate you joining us this evening. And if you want to see more interviews and reunions, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and you can continue the conversation with us on social media and tag us there. You could follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook under the name Tammy Tuckey, and you can head to my website for more information and more fun interviews and reunions. And thank you both so much. This has been a lot of fun to have you on the show this evening. So thank you.
Well, thank you so much for having us. I appreciate it. And I know we had a scheduling issues a couple of times, so I'm glad that we finally got to do it.
Yes.
Oh no, I'm it's all good. I as long as we can meet and talk, I really don't mind.
It was great.
Great.
Oh, and JP says that it's the Collectors Fest in Wayne, New Jersey.
Collectors Fest. Thank you, JP.
On 11/19, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. So if you're in the East Coast area, definitely, they're the greatest. I have a picture. I'm going to post it later this week to promote our interview of the three of us. And it was just so nice to meet you guys. I had a great day off, and just driving over to see you guys, I was like, oh, this is so exciting.
It was great to meet you too. It was especially great to meet you before we did this. So it's like, I feel like, we know you a little bit now. So it was like, it was nice.
It never happens. I'm like, I never get to meet anybody before doing an interview on most cases. So this was a great exception. And I have this proudly displayed on my bookcase now. So I'm just I haven't played it yet. I've been watching like the streaming version of it, but I want to see the behind the scenes featurette on this one.
Oh yeah.
I can't wait. I'm excited. I love my DVDs. I got to keep them because usually they have cool behind the scenes stuff on them. And people just, disregard that, but I love it. So they got to do a documentary, not even a documentary. They should do a commentary and bring back everybody who's a part of the film for like maybe the 50th. That would be really cool to hear what you guys have to say while watching it.
Yeah, get us before we totally forget everything.
Yeah. I think this calls for a book to be made,
Maybe Toni Ann, maybe you and I, that's when I'm going to retire next year. So maybe you and I are going to write our book, our memories from our time doing the film, right?
Yeah.
We'll give all the dirt.
Yeah.
There's no dirt. There's no dirt. We can't even write
a happy set. Yeah.
Yeah, we can't even write a tell-all. There couldn't be a little dirt.
I think we can come up with some dirt.
I will make it up. Nobody will know.
Well, thank you guys for watching. And remember, the sun will come out tomorrow. And then also a shout out to my dad. It's his birthday today. So happy birthday,
happy
Dad.
Birthday, Tammy's dad.
He's watching. He loves the interview. So it was so great to have you guys on the show. And good night, everybody. Thanks again. We'll see you later.
Tammy, thank you. Bye, Toni Ann. Talk to you later.
Here.
Bye, ladies.